Good afternoon, dear colleagues. We continue our working day at Ukraine Crisis Media Center. I'm Valentin Pugachev, and today, in the framework of Spokesperson of Peaceful Life project, we're going to speak about cultural life in the east of Ukraine. And our speakers are Tetyana Manziuk, representative of ArtPole, and also Mykola Skyba, curator of the Hackadon. And this is a hub for festivals and different exhibitions and events that correlate different directions of modern and traditional art. They work on creation of cultural projects not only with their countrymen but also together with their foreign counterparts, and one of the activity is the development of different cultural activities in the east of Ukraine, and we are going to speak about it. And at the same time, Mykola Skyba was a curator of Hackadon visions, roadmaps, new models of social and economic arrangement and projects for development of Ukraine eastern regions. And it was conducted on the 27th, 28th of February, and there many people took part, and they tried to find out the role of east of Ukraine, and also they spoke about employment for people from mines, and also what models are more appropriate for the east of Ukraine. And Ukraine Crisis Media Center also contribute to the development of cultural activities in the east of Ukraine. We have cultural diplomacy among regions of Ukraine, and also a project that provides the vision of a decommunization process. And we are going to speak about the development of cultural life and introduction of new projects. Our speakers are Tetyana Manziuk, coordinator of the project of ArtPole, and also the project RozdIlovi, tour in the cities close to the front line, and Mykola Skyba, curator of Hackadon and art critic. Good afternoon. Do you hear us well? Right. So you'll have 8 minutes each. Please speak slowly because we have simultaneous translation into English, and we'll start with Tetyana. Can you tell us about your agency and your activity in RozdIlovi project? Please. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you hear me well. Our organization is active in the sphere of cultural projects in the different regions of Ukraine. And these days, there's a tour of RozdIlovi project. This is a project that comprises Sergei Zhadan poetry, and he personally participates in this project. And also there is some music created by Belarus composer Mr. Barsoba, and also Vlad Kramer participates in this project, and also Olga Mikhailiuk. She is a painter and one of the directors of this project. This is all inspired by contemporary Ukrainian poetry. And yesterday there was a first event, and it was presented in Berdyansk. And today there will be concert in Mariupol, then Kramatorsk, Slavyansk, Bakhmut, and Severodonetsk. And we greet you from Severodonetsk, and they are in Mariupol, and I am in Severodonetsk, and I am in the Crisis Media Center, and I'm here because today in the evening in the Palace of Culture we are going to present a documentary, Alchev's Quotes it is called, and it tells us about this art project because one of the most important steps in the creation of this project was in Luganshina, in the house of Stebovsko, and this is there were musicians, there were some poets and creative people who worked on this project. Also, we have a documentary about it by Mr. Ilkov. And I named the cities, and Severodonetsk is the only place in Luganshina for our project, and other places are in Zaporizhia and other regions. And there are many stages of the project that were here, and we decided to show a documentary in order to prepare our audience and also to remind to ourselves how it was. It was 2 years ago in May, and it was near Alchevsk, Seleznivka. And today, together with film director Mr. Ilkov, we will going to present this film, and this project will be brought here on Sunday and will be presented to the public. So, about RozdIlovi tour. What is this name, RozdIlovi? What does it mean? The first question. And when this tour was started, and as I understood that each state is different, and what is the difference of this tour compared with the previous ones? I will ask the first question about the story of the project. Connection has broken.
Пані Тетяно, пане Микола, як нас чути? Чуємо пана Миколу, але, на жаль, пані Тетяно, ми вас не почули. Якщо можете ще раз почніть говорити спочатку, так?
So why RozdIlovi? As I told you, this project was inspired by Hackadon poetry. Skype connection broke again. And in one of the poetry, there are some words that new things should be created. So and from this we started our project from the poetry of this poet. And we had this idea in 2012 when we were preparing the publication of collection of poetry by Hackadon. And also in May 2014, there was an event in Psychovsky house, and Psychovsky house, where everyone gathered, and we worked there. And RozdIlovi, these are not only marks of punctuation. This is not only about the text, about intonation. It also punctuation, not only punctuation marks, but also the lines, the borders between people, the lines that separate people. So there is a metaphoric sense of this and also physical sense of this. And this tour that is on the way, these are punctuations that unite, that may provide some additional senses. We should contribute in order to create these projects. And each time it is a new version of the event, and Everything is done. So this is provided live, poetry, music, and of course, those people who take part in this project on the scene, they feel the atmosphere, and people also participate and feel and provided with these emotions. And I give the floor to Nikolai. Please tell us about Hackadon that was on the 27th and 28th of February. Who was the organizer and what really happened? Good afternoon. The initiator of Hackadon was Center of Monitoring of Employment. This is a project office that works with several institutions of state power, of local government from Adetsk and the Ministry of Energy and Coal. And they work on the project that is called Restructuring of Human Capital in the coal industry, and it is supported by the government of Great Britain. And according to the results of the survey, it was understandable that in order to use these mines, this is not effective. This is a dead end. And there are different technical reasons. But the main idea is that if we are speaking metaphorically, what is coal industry and steel industry for Donetsk? This is an anchor that holds the region in the totalitarian past and in oligarchic today. And this complex, was established in those times of Stalin modernization, so-called modernization as we call it. And as of today, the majority of this complex, it is controlled by those who we call oligarchs, and that's why there is a system of closed access. And in order to achieve some results, we should change the structure. So the closure of these mines, this is not only the overcoming of the past, this clears the way into the future. But of course, this is a challenge because thousands of people will be unemployed, and also there are some land, about thousands of hectares, they also cleared, and we should adapt people to new conditions. So there was a format proposed, Hackadon. This is an effective and intensive interdisciplinary work of the teams that have limited time in order to provide some models of projects. We concentrated not on prototypes as in technological hackathons, but where there are some developments of applied nature. We should have project ideas, and we complete and make some conclusions. On Saturday, we have some presentations of projects, and we should divide it in qualifications and take final decisions. We selected 7 from 13 teams that we shared the information to mentors, and they will select online and final results. These teams will be in the Center of Monitoring on Employment, and some donors will take part in order to create a program, comprehensive program, that is directed to restructuring of this complex, and the biggest aim is to create a new economic structure of the region. So this is a start. This is a critical mass of efforts in order to start this process, in order to form open bank of ideas. And we continue the proposals. The access of proposals is open. You can contact these organizations. There is information on the internet. You can find all necessary contacts. Briefly, I will tell about the project. We have 8 directions. Exactly. These were from culture and psychology to agrarian sector. Why agrarian sector? I would like to focus on this, and many of them reached the final stage because we have lands that are near these mines, and they are used by these mines, and these lands, they should be revived when the mines are closed. And one of the variants and world experience show that these can be cluster farms. These are highly technological farming, connected not with traditional view on agrarian sector, but it is about agrarian industry. The channels of supply and person, he himself shouldn't sell or to be involved in some commerce. Because those people who work in mines, they don't like to be involved in commerce. They don't like this activity. They are accustomed to labor, and this is cult for them. So we should create a new cult of innovative labor, and among these Agricola, agro school, and also processing enterprises to make some fertilizers, a cluster of clever things, and also some projects, ceramic classes. There's also platforms for freelance, for those who want to stay in the region, but they want to be involved in different activities in the world. They can go online and represent their services and activities, and also projects on requalification and education. And also, this process was very inspiring, and Roman Zimchenko, Mr. Cheban, they proposed their own project that is called Pigeons of Peace, and it is about creation of military hub for veterans of the military actions who are demobilized or who are volunteers and continue to work. Several comments about the mentors. Who are the mentors? How many? And what is the process of selection of these mentors? We had 10 mentors. These are people from different spheres: psychologist, investment banker, and people from Crisis Media Center and Marushaka Ganchar. They have experience in this cultural social projects. The People's Deputy, representative of the administration, Kostakus, and also Alena Stashkin, professor of Mariupol University, a person who knows social sphere of Donbass. Olga Sagaidak initiated the Don Cult project, who also is involved in cultural activities and try to demine stereotypes. And Denis Bashinsky, from country to country. This is a social initiative. People like that, like in all hackathon, this is a priority of consultants and individual consultancy. So everyone cooperated greatly, and we are grateful for their time. And mentors should provide feedback to the teams and to help them focus on the program that is to be solved. And Yuri Shirin and also PR manager of the 95th Brigade that is at the front line, and this is a person who knows well industrial marketing. So this is a great great skills of this person. They help us a lot. We'll try to renew the contact with Tetyana. Maybe she left. We will try to dial her again.
Доброго дня ще раз, колеги.
I'm glad that Tetyana is with us now. We have 5 minutes, so several questions to you. Your impressions about yesterday's event that was in Berdyansk, whether it was really successful. This is the first question, and then I will give you a second question. So Berdyansk, this is the first city of our tour, and everyone was excited, and you can see it in the photos. There were more than 300 people. They went to Arts Museum, and people write their comments on the internet. They share their impressions, and they're really great. And I believe that this event was successful. Previously in Berdyansk, we has already worked, and ArtPole access to the East project was there, and they hold events, and we knew our audience already. Were prepared for this, and the photos with the full halls that people really inspired by Ukrainian poetry, and we are inspired of this tour. So I'm going to announce where this tour will going to come. On the 1st of March, Mariupol, 3rd of March, Vilna, Khata, Kramatorsk, Sloviansk, 5th of March, Bakhmut, and 6th, Severodonetsk, local Palace of Culture. Everything is correct. The only thing I want to add that the artists will come to Kiev, and on the 9th there will be an event in Kiev, and there will be some impressions of travel in the East, and those who are in Kiev, we invite everyone to this event in Kiev. Mykola, as I understand, you don't have a final results in Hackadon, and what will be the implementation of the results of this event, and do you have plans to provide to carry out such hackathons in the future? There will be in the program of Center Monitoring of Employment, there is an interest from the side of the donors, And for them, it is very important that there shouldn't be any duplication of their efforts. They expect some complex program. And this is our task, to create such a program. And the winners in hackathons, this is not an Olympiad. Sometimes hackathon is ended in that the mentor, for example, wishes some teams to unite their effort. And all these 7 teams that are were qualified, they will go into work further. They will be provided some expert help from the Center of Monitoring of Employment, in order that their project proposals were transformed into real projects. So they are preserve their entity, but also they are included in the network of cooperation. And the main indicators, the employment, how it influences the social sphere, and also what is important, as I told you before, to create an alternative to coal and metallurgy industries. So people should see that there are different jobs, different employment for them. And in this way, Donbass can be transformed. It can be modern, and it can be become a driver for the whole country, for Ukraine. And it is a chance for people. There is a wish, there is a readiness to provide some funding from the side of European governments, but there should be quality proposals where risks should be established, and there should be clear plan of action, and donors are ready to participate, to provide some funds for this. And the pool of such projects is the result of the project. And about the plans for the future. And also there will be a question from my colleague. Firstly, you know that Hackathon continued only for 24 hours. So during the next 2 weeks or maybe a month, this process of consultation is on the way, and integration in the project. And also there will be some strategy at the level of the Ministry of Energy as to the plan of actions on restructuring, and our results, they will be included there. And further, according to the results, we will see whether we need to carry out additional events, and we are going to work in our project in the field of this project. And the last question, and we are going to end. So please introduce yourself first. Sergei Malerchuk, UCMC. I have a question to Nikolai. And could you please tell us, Great Britain in Thatcher times also went through closure of mines. And of course, all this process was already completed by them. Do you have some sharing of experience with those communities of British towns that were affected by the situation in which Donbass is now? And do you share the experience with them? In the framework of this project, there was a study of cases, and they are published on the site. And there were no direct contacts, but we didn't have such a need, because the process in Great Britain, it went further, and it is different. And we study this at the level of examples, that this transformation is possible, and that people can change their behavior. And maybe in the future it will be possible when we will have some pilot projects that will show how this is done here. And also the decision is not already taken whether we should follow Great Britain program or German program, because in some the sense of Hackadon was to find the model that is appropriate to be realized in Donbass. Thank you, Tetyana. Thank you, Nikolai. We hope that we will be able to speak with you after the 9th of March, and we will hear about your plans for the future. And we thank you very much. Until the next time, goodbye. Dear colleagues, thank you for being with us, and I just remind you that the next press briefing and the framework of the project of Spokesman of Peaceful Life will be on Wednesday